Super Princess Peach is a game that's been dismissed and clowned on ever since it came out. They say it's too easy. They say it's too boring. They say it makes an allusion to sex toys in its ending. Wait, hold on, what? Wait. Super Princess Peach released for the Nintendo DS in the United States in 2006. And as such, it was a game that I grew up with. One that I have a lot of nostalgia and bias towards. And even with that said, I still think it deserves to be looked at in a much more positive light. Especially with a new Princess Peach game releasing so soon, I think it's important to give this game its own appreciation before it becomes even more overshadowed and disregarded than it already has been. Super Princess Peach is good. You guys are just mean. The story of this game is relatively simple, as is the case for pretty much every Mario platformer. Bowser's troops, using the power of the mysterious Vibe Scepter, storm Peach's castle and, in an interesting reversal, kidnap Mario, Luigi, and the Toads while Peach is out on a stroll. But the Vibe Scepter proves too strong, and suddenly all of Bowser's troops succumb to its emotion-manipulating powers. When Peach returns to her castle and sees the state of things, she sets off to the Vibe Islands in order to defeat Bowser and rescue the boys, accompanied by a sentient talking parasol named Perry that Toadsworth picked up from a shop. Okay, ignoring the moral logistics of buying a sentient being, when's the last time we saw Toadsworth in a new game? You guys think he's still alive? Super Princess Peach has a very simple plot, but it's told through gorgeous sprite work, cute interactive elements, and even a minigame to play as Toadsworth and Perry deliver exposition. It's a fun way to introduce the story, putting its personality on full display right at the start, which is absolutely perfect for a game all about emotion and vibes. Super Princess Peach's gameplay builds upon the basic platformer archetype with its own unique ideas, especially compared to other Super Mario games. You of course run, jump, stomp on enemies, but this game also offers Peach a short-ranged melee attack, thanks to her new magic Talking Parasol's lack of free will. There's a lot of fun in seeing Princess Peach beat enemies into submission with a blunt object that you just don't get in other games. This game doesn't have an extra life system, taking away a lot of the stress that inherently comes with platformers. It's all just hearts and vibes, baby. And with that said, let's talk about the game's main mechanic. On the bottom screen are Peach's vibes, which can be used at any time provided you have enough energy. If you ever run low on energy, you can always replenish Peach by picking up an enemy and, absorbing their essence. Listen, there's no way to explain it without sounding weird, so I'll just make the low-hanging joke and we can all move on. Peach has 4 vibes at her disposal, which are mainly designed around puzzle solving, but since they're not exclusive to specific levels, the game allows you to just use them for the sake of fun. Sure, these enemies might be lined up so you can knock them all out with a Koopa shell, but who's gonna stop me from mowing them down with my blazing fury? Jumps are a bit too tricky and precise? Simply use your joyous spirit to rise above them. Don't want to spend too long replaying a level to get that one missing collectible? Just cry your way through it until you reach the end. And if the enemies are harshing the vibes, you can always take a chill pill and convert your energy into hearts. Much in the way a person would turn the food they ate into fuel. Oh man, is this a setup for another Vor joke? My content's probably going to get progressively worse throughout the year, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss this train wreck. Throughout the game, you can unlock different abilities for Perry, with some being level exclusive like the Slidebrella and the Subbrella, and others being purchasable upgrades from the Toad Shop. Look at Princess Peach supporting small locally owned businesses. She's such an icon.
Peachy!
The Floatbrella allows you to slowly descend, while the Poundbrella allows Peach to ground pound. Kinda weird that you have to unlock these abilities, but the other shop ability, Chargebrella, lets Peach charge up an energy blast to fire at enemies. I almost never use this ability. Also, the Subbrella can fire bubbles to attack, but the only way to do that is to blow into the microphone. I recorded this on a new 3DS XL, which means the microphone is down here on the system, and none of the Subbrella sections were even a little fun. This was supposed to be a positive video, right? I will say, if you crouch while running, Peach performs this simple slide kick that I found myself using all the time for no reason. It's just really satisfying. Also, when she goes down slopes, she slides butt first. God, I wish that was me. What's Perry's deal, by the way? He's a fully sentient being, but he's completely willing to help these strangers on this quest. for seemingly no reason other than being Toadsworth's property bequeathed onto Peach, in a form of indentured servitude with a smile. This guy's weird. At the end of each world, we get little glimpses into Perry's backstory, where we learn he was once a boy who possessed some kind of innate magical ability. He was found by an old man, and the two would live together peacefully, until an evil witch and their henchmen cursed him to become a living parasol. He escaped his captors and was found by a wandering merchant and sold to Toadsworth.
And now you know my cool backstory?
That is pretty cool.
Thank you.
Hey, here's a question. What am I supposed to do with this information? Cool to know that the funny, happy umbrella I bash Goombas with has trauma. This game's awesome. The worlds of Super Princess Peach follow standard Mario theming, leading up to Bowser's timeshare on Vibe Island. Weirdly enough, that makes this the second game where you beat up Bowser while he's on vacation. And even weirder is that his very next appearance is in a game where he beats up the Mario gang while they're on vacation. The Bowser Vacation story arc really should be studied. Also, I'm never going to get a chance to talk about this again, but the way worlds are added to the map is really stupid. Like, why does Peach keep going back and forth to opposite sides of the island? I get that it's her adventure and she's just kind of vibing, but this is a really inefficient way to travel. Levels in Super Princess Peach feel most similar to Yoshi's Island, which is certainly not a bad comparison. There's an emphasis on exploration and puzzle solving, and with the lack of timer and instant death traps, you're really encouraged to take these levels at your own pace. Each level has 3 toads hidden throughout, as well as another collectible in the form of sound clips or puzzle pieces. And Peach will always emote on the bottom screen whenever there's one in the area. I really like this feature. The game is guiding the player without outright giving them the answer, and it keeps you from checking every inch of every level aimlessly. The game is lax with its collectibles. You don't need a certain amount of toads to progress at any point. It all depends on how much you want these little dudes to suffer. There are a good amount of levels with areas that just barely seem accessible, and the game almost always rewards you for going out of your way to explore. Each level ends with a little roulette for bonus coins, again harkening back to Yoshi's Island. And if it wasn't clear in its level design and aesthetic, the Yoshi's Island influence is especially made clear in its enemies. This game includes a wide variety of enemies from the Super Mario series, but notably there's a lot of obscure enemies from Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island that we never really see reappear outside those games. Rex, Volcano Lotus, Blurps, Fangs, Ravens, Kaboombas, even the amazing Flying Hammer Brother. Who the hell remembers this guy?
That's it. I'm throwing hammers!
At first, it seems really weird to bring back such obscure characters for this adventure, until you realize this game came out before New Super Mario Bros. And technically speaking, Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island were the latest 2D platformers to draw inspiration from at the time. This use of enemies like the AFHB allows Super Princess Peach to act as a really unique point in the greater Super Mario history. It's referencing the older games without being directly connected to them, but it's certainly not reflective of the future of 2D Super Mario. It's in a weird, unique gray area, and I really appreciate that. The enemies even tie into the game's story and core mechanics. Some enemies have been overtaken by certain vibes, altering their patterns and behavior. Mad Goombas can shake the ground with their raging stomps, while sad Goombas will suddenly charge at you with little warning. You can sneak past calm enemies stealth style, and joyous enemies really don't have much rhyme or reason. They are simply vibing. I especially love the enemies that act completely different from their emotionless counterparts. Mad Boos, for example, only attack while Peach is facing their direction, a really fun inversion of typical Boo behavior. Boohavior, if you will. That's a good pun. I gotta use that in a video someday. This game's main gimmick doesn't just extend to its enemies, it's a main part of its bosses as well. This game features a mix of classic Mario bosses, particularly those from Super Mario Sunshine, and some new, unique faces. And now here's a fun question. Out of these two bosses, which is the one that you think can rotate their head 180 degrees? Around the halfway point of each boss, they'll suddenly be overcome with a specific emotion and change the tide of the fight. Mad Petey attacks more frequently. Glad Who destroys the ground and turns the fight into a really cool aerial battle. Sad King Boo extinguishes the candles used to damage him. Side note, King Boo's sprite is absolutely gorgeous, and I love how you can use his own attacks to light the candles instead of just relying on the rage vibe. Of course, this all naturally culminates in a climactic showdown against Bowser. It's an honest-to-goodness 1v1 duel, with Bowser using different vibes throughout the fight, making it genuinely one of the most exciting Bowser battles. Man, if Bowser's so cool, how come they never made Bowser 2? Huh. Presentation-wise, I've already talked about how much personality appears in every character in animation already. But the general art style is so cute and appealing. All the enemies look so round and squishy. Look at Rex. What a good lad. It doesn't quite have the same crayon-drawn look as Yoshi's Island, but it definitely evokes a similar style. The music was a lot catchier than I had initially remembered, with the boss theme and Fury Volcano standing out the most to me. And of course the music changes depending on what vibe you're using. This game is so charming. Normally, I like striving for 100% completion whenever I make a video on a specific game, but I'll keep it a buck. 100% completing Super Princess Peach involves playing through every level again, and I'm trying to get this video finished before Valentine's Day. I saved all the Toads and Mario and the Green Man. That's good enough for now. Green Man! There's little unlockable minigames, puzzle pieces, a sound test, and bestiary. I'll definitely come back and complete the game at some point, but not anytime soon. I was worried about going back to Super Princess Peach, that it might not be as good as I remembered. And yeah, not everything is perfect, but I found myself appreciating how the smaller elements came together to make a truly delightful package. The theming, the level design, the quirkiness in its presentation and gameplay, this game put a smile on my face from start to finish. It's a humble little adventure starring my favorite lady in gaming. Of course I'm going to love it, but I hope that somewhere in these scattered ramblings about a game from my youth that I hold really close to my heart, I might have convinced you too that Super Princess Peach is good, and we can all remember it fondly as we usher in the new era of Princess Peach's legacy. Thanks for watching.